Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is The Book Break. And today I'm really excited to talk to an inspirational author, Leta Greene, and I'm just going to bring her right in.
I'm so excited to be on with you, Melissa.
Thank you. So I am really excited because I learned about your books a couple of years ago, but I never got a chance to read them until this year. So let's just jump right in because I just recommended this first book for my recommended books for the month of April. So this one is Love Me Too. Tell us a little bit more about that. And that's actually you on the cover, isn't it?
It is. It is. That is not a Photoshop picture. That is actually me as a child, not being allowed to express my voice, which is really fit in with the message of what sexual abuse and sexual shame brings into our lives. We think we don't have a voice. And so this was my response to the Me Too movement that said that we should be angry and sad and victims the rest of our life, because I'm not. From 2.5 to 14, I experienced that. But there are tools and methods that I teach in this book, including the atonement of Jesus Christ, to help us to get to a better place.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one of the things that stood out to me in this book is, this is a book that, even though it's talking about what can be a heavy topic, it's positive, it's uplifting. And just here in the subtitle, we can see finding a happy and fulfilling life after sexual abuse. And this is not just for women. This is for men and women. And whether you have been a victim or someone you love has been, or you just want to be more aware of different things, I think this book is really for everyone.
And thank you for bringing that up, because so often it is depicted that only women, only girls have these issues. This is a societal issue that affects every single one of us, regardless of our sex, orientation, our race. It affects every single one of us. And 1 in 3 girls reported, 1 in 5 boys reported. I suspect the numbers are a lot higher than that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think those numbers, the 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 of boys, are pretty, those are high numbers. If you think about it, in just your own immediate family, that means that in many people's family, if you have one child in your family, at some point, those statistics could mean that somebody in your family could be a victim. But even if they are, I think it's so important to talk about how, number one, it's not their fault. Because that's one of the biggest things that you talk about in the book is the shaming and the guilt that the abuser gives somebody.
Right. And at the same time, where it's 100% the perpetrator's fault that this happened, but we have the responsibility to clean up the mess in our own lives. We cannot be chasing after the abuser to somehow give us permission to feel better, only if we get justice. In my case, I don't have DNA evidence to prove what happened to me, right? So if I'm chasing after him to get my day in court, then I would never be able to have healing. So even though mess was created by someone else, I have to clean up the mess in my life. And that there's a great joy in that. There's a great empowerment about that.
Yeah, and I love that word empowerment, because we don't need to give that power over to the abuser. We have the power for our lives and to be healthy.
And I think, I'm sorry, I get so excited, because I think we are constantly seeking validation through social media, and that our friendships become this: am I approved by my friends? Do my friends like me? Do my friends agree with me? Where healing has nothing to do with if you agree with things. It's about how to overcome and work through the own mess in your own heart, and that you can't put responsibility for that on anyone else. There's no system, there's no other person that can fix you. You have to do it. And that seems really harsh when you didn't create the situation. But when you realize that it's up to you, you get to be the one to make your life what you want to make it. And I'm so glad that when I was a kid, nobody was giving me the message that I couldn't repair.
Yeah, absolutely.
It alarms me how much it is, we've claimed victimhood as some kind of status in our society, because that's saying to the little girl, the little boy that has gone through this, or other things that people get victimized in our society about, it is outside of them to make their life amazing. And that's a very damaging message.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things as the reader, when I was reading your book, that I really appreciated was, number one, it was clear you are real. And also, you're kind of a funny person. So it might have been a little of a topic that will make you sad in places, but feeling empowered. And I mean, yeah, there were places I cried, but there were places I was laughing too.
Well, I'm glad, because I know it wasn't my funniest of my 2 books, but I think I'm funny. And, a lot of times when people hire me to speak, they're like, you're not going to talk on that, right? And I'm like, oh, we can still make it fun. It can still be, people just can't get that correlation. But that's the sign of I've embraced who I am. And that means all of the messiness of my past too. And that doesn't have to always be sad. We don't have to always be somber.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you just mentioned your other book too. So let's segue into that. And this is your Hotness book, which I think is a really fun book. And this is embracing tell us a little bit more how to embrace your inner hotness.
Right. So I am a makeup artist, image consultant, have been in the beauty industry for almost 30 years. And so this is, on the surface, it's a debunking of what makes you beautiful, but really it's a confidence and resiliency book. Love Me Too is just going deeper. And a lot of times people say, well, those are like totally 2 different topics. But when you recognize that how important confidence is to helping you come out against an abuser, how to deal with your worth the work, Love Me Too is entitled that way, that you have to love yourself enough too. And Hotness is 15 different steps to having confidence in your life. And we've all had people say things to us that they shouldn't have said. For example, my grandmother used to tell me that I was ugly and that nobody would love me. And she didn't say that to me because she didn't love me. She was saying that to me because of her very limited definition of what made a woman beautiful or likable. And I wasn't cute and I had bad personality in her view. I was just different. And we all get caught up in comparisons about what we think is amazing, what we think we should have. And if it's coming to how you deal with your abuse, oh, her abuse was worse than mine, so I shouldn't feel bad. Or he went through something that wasn't as bad, so I get to be more sad. If it's comparing our beauty or comparing our abuse, we have to be like, no, I'm choosing what I want to be in my life. And we compare ourselves to other people, we will always lose.
Yeah.
Competition with ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you just mentioned that there are different steps to help you embrace your inner hotness. Can you tell us what some of those are?
Yes, one of my favorite is vanity prayers. And so we've all heard of affirmations, and so this was just my spin on affirmations that wasn't taught to me by any earthly source. I tell the story in the book of where I literally found out that I had a name that's a pun. My name is Lead 'em on instead of like lead them on.
Oh,
and that wasn't funny. And I go more into the story, but it was just this moment that just broke me because I was like, all these bad things have happened. And I'd like to say that in my book, Love Me Too, I don't go into exactly what happened because it's not the point. It's what I'm doing with the recovery. So the same in Hotness. I didn't go over everything that bad had happened. This isn't a tell-all. This isn't my journal. This is just these things. I was broke at this point, and I had an answer from God that said I need to practice a new way of thinking of myself. And I had been repeating the words that had been handed to me by my grandmother, by society, by culture, by beauty magazines. Every single person, my story is not unique. It's really the story of every person. What am I going to do with those negative messages? Do I repeat them and make them a little cherished poop in my brain? Or do I flush them where they should go and replace them with what God would think of me? And so vanity prayers is at my bathroom mirror when I'm getting dressed. Like today, I was like, I'm going to do so great. I'm going to be so amazing on this interview with Melissa and my other commitments that I have today. And so this becomes a symbol of the work I've done inside, And so even if it's just a deodorant and brush your teeth day, I still took that time to think positively and fill my soul of good things.
Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of us could do well to tell ourselves the positive affirmations in the vanity prayer. I love that.
Yeah, because, a power hour, that's a beautiful thing. But, Melissa, you and I are mothers. And so I joke that we
don't have an hour.
My beauty team is like, Mom. So I just look at my husband. I'm like, you're right here. Like, what? Why? You're right. I mean, and men are awesome. We're not bashing men at all. I love my husband. It's just, we don't have an hour just to take to ourselves and, do all the things that we need to do. And so this is just multitasking, as we women are brilliant at doing. One time a man told me that you can't multitask. And I tapped him on the arm and I said, that lets me know you don't have a uterus. So we can multitask. We can put on our makeup and our deodorant and sit there and just say nice things about us instead of, oh, I'm getting fat. Oh, I have a wrinkle. I'm loving that I'm graying. It's a privilege not everyone gets to grow older. So it's just how we how we encapsulate things in our life and how we look at them, if that's how we view ourselves from our self-esteem to how we view our past and the dirty that might have happened in the past, the pain, the mess, right? They really go together. And there's a story of a friend of mine that she was talking to a man who runs a trafficking ring. And the way they recruit their girls especially is they go up and compliment them. And if the girls can't receive a compliment, then they dig in. And if she has daddy issues, boom, the man said, we have a recruit. So the interplay between our realizing, if I can say it this bluntly, our divinity before God, our value that is unchangeable regardless of what happens to us, will help protect us, will help us realize that somebody is trying to hurt us in a way they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it all goes down to communication with ourselves and what messages we're sending out there, and communication with our kids.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think you really hit the nail on the head with that, because it's a part of how we view ourselves, how we view our families, and to remember we are better than we probably think we are, and not, and even just the thought to how to accept a compliment. That's fascinating to me, that's what they look at, that's what they look for when they're trying to.
It kind of hits you, because then you start to see how these numbers of 1 in 3 women, you just go and compliment your girlfriends, and most of them will minimize it. So it was very profound for me for years to have taught all these principles, doing my confidence workshops, makeovers, all this kind of thing, the book, and then to be surprised that I needed to write Love Me Too, because I thought society all agreed that this was poopy. Sorry, that's my swear word, right? And I thought we all agreed we're on the same page on this. Evidently we weren't. And then to see the interplay between the two, it was just kind of like, okay, I got you, right? That we are more than what we think. Our talents, our abilities, our beauty, and our recovery is worth it. And we're worth the work.
Yeah, I love that. Well, this has been so awesome talking to you, Leta. And for our viewers, we've been showing some of the places they can find you at, but can you tell us a couple places where they can go and follow you online or look up more of your information?
Well, if you know how to spell my name, Leta Greene, or Leta Mon Greene, but Mon's just on my personal thing, go follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm in all the places. I don't tweet. That's what I joke about. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there, but if you can find me, I have YouTube. I'm easy to find if you know how to spell my name, and I'd love to have people connect with me more.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leta. It's been so great talking to you.
Always great talking to you, Melissa.
And thank you all for joining us on the book break. We'll see you next time.